I need you to be honest with yourself right now. How many times have you thought about giving up? How many times have you felt like the world is against you? Like no matter what you do, nothing changes, nothing moves, nothing works. I need you to understand something before we go any further. That voice inside your head, the one telling you that it's too hard, too late, too impossible. That voice is lying to you. It wants to stop you from becoming everything you are capable of. It wants to keep you small, keep you safe, keep you comfortable, and keep you stuck. But I'm here to tell you something that you need to hear, something you may have forgotten in the chaos of life. The fire inside you is stronger than any obstacle. The strength inside you is greater than any setback. The potential inside you is more powerful than any failure. And if you decide right now that you will refuse to quit, that you will refuse to stop, that you will keep going no matter what, then nothing, I mean nothing, can hold you back. Think about the last time life hit you hard. Think about the last time you failed. The last time you were rejected, the last time the world told you no. How did it feel? I know it hurt. I know it crushed you. I know you wanted to quit. But here's the truth. That was not the end of your story. That was not your final chapter. That was the spark, the call, the wake up that was meant to ignite the fire you carry inside. Every failure, every struggle, every no you've received is not a stop sign. It's a stepping stone. Every obstacle is not meant to defeat you. It's meant to define you, to refine you, to show you what you are really made of. And if you are willing to dig deeper, push harder, and fight longer than you ever have before, then you are going to see what happens when persistence meets purpose. You are going to see what happens when pain becomes fuel and determination refuses to let go. You are going to see what happens when someone decides that no matter what life throws at them, they will keep going. This speech is not for the weak. This is not for the person who wants easy. This is for the person who is ready to stare fear in the face, who is ready to step into the grind, who is ready to embrace the struggle and say, I will not quit. I will not stop. I will keep going. Because what I'm about to share with you is more than motivation. It is a blueprint. It is a call to action. It is a mindset shift. It is the mental ammunition you need to rise above doubt, above fear, above failure, and step into the person you were always meant to be. I want you to lean in. I want you to listen. I want you to take every word in, because by the time this is over, you are not going to be the same. Your perspective will change. Your mindset will shift. Your energy will ignite. And by the end, you are going to understand that no matter how many times life knocks you down, no matter how many obstacles stand in your way, no matter how dark the past seems, you have one choice that defines everything: to get up, to push forward, and to keep going. The fire is inside you. The strength is inside you. The power is inside you. And right now, right here, it's time to unleash it. You see, one of the biggest traps that holds people back, that keeps them stuck in the same place year after year, is the lie of perfection. People wait. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect conditions. They wait until everything lines up just right. They wait until they feel ready, until they feel confident, until they feel like the stars are aligned and the universe has given them a green light. But here's the truth. Perfection does not exist. It's a mirage. It's a mirage designed to keep you comfortable in your hesitation, to keep you safe in your procrastination. Waiting for the perfect moment is the same as doing nothing at all. You think that moment will come, but while you wait, life doesn't pause. The world keeps moving. People keep moving. Opportunities pass, and the gap between where you are and where you want to be only widens. Momentum is the antidote to hesitation. Momentum is the force that pushes you forward even when you're scared, even when the path isn't clear, even when you don't feel ready. Momentum doesn't wait for permission. Momentum doesn't ask for your approval. Momentum doesn't need the stars to align. Momentum builds itself by motion, and motion is the result of action. Small, imperfect, messy action that may feel uncomfortable, uncertain, and even wrong at times. Think about it. The most successful people you've ever seen didn't start out perfect. They weren't born ready, fully equipped, or flawless. They were flawed, struggling, doubting themselves, just like everyone else. What separated them from the crowd wasn't some secret formula or a perfect plan. It was movement. They did something, anything, no matter how small, and they did it consistently. And each action, each step built on the last until suddenly momentum became unstoppable. It's like rolling a boulder up a hill. At first, it's heavy, it's difficult, it's exhausting. But the more you push, the more the boulder gains speed, the more it begins to move on its own, and the easier it becomes to keep pushing. Momentum compounds, action compounds, and T doesn't matter if your first step isn't perfect, because perfection is a moving target, and waiting for it will only leave you frozen, watching life pass by. The people who wait for perfection never start. They sit on ideas, dreams, goals, waiting for the day when everything is perfect, when they have all the answers, when they feel ready. But readiness doesn't come from waiting. It comes from doing. Readiness comes from taking action, from moving forward, even when you don't have it all figured out, even when you feel afraid, even when failure seems inevitable. Readiness comes from showing up again and again and trusting that the process will teach you what you need to know. Each step you take builds confidence, builds skill, builds clarity. Each step you take creates momentum. And momentum doesn't just carry you through the easy days, it carries you through the hard days. The days when motivation is gone, the days when you feel like quitting. Once you start moving, even imperfectly, the world starts to adjust to your motion. Doors you didn't even know existed begin to open. Opportunities find you. Ideas start to flow. Connections appear. But it only happens when you are in motion. The world rewards those who move. The world doesn't reward those who wait. So how do you create momentum? You start. You start with what you have, where you are, with the skills you currently possess, no matter how limited. You start with small actions, consistent actions, and you refuse to wait it for conditions to be perfect. Momentum is not about giant leaps. It's about continuous, consistent forward movement. It's about showing up every day, even when the results are invisible, even when no one notices, even when it feels like you're going nowhere. The truth is, you are going somewhere because each push forward builds the muscle of momentum inside of you. And as your momentum grows, you'll find that what once felt impossible becomes inevitable. What once seemed overwhelming becomes manageable. What once felt unattainable becomes real. Momentum transforms doubt into confidence, fear into courage, hesitation into action. There's another truth that too many people overlook. Perfection is the enemy of progress. People are paralyzed by the idea that if it's not perfect, it's worthless. But the reality is nothing worth having starts perfect. Mastery comes through trial and error, through mistakes and failures, through lessons learned in the fire of action. Every failure, every misstep, every awkward attempt is a building block. Every imperfect action is momentum in disguise. The more you move, the more you learn, the faster you grow, and the closer you get to your goal. Momentum doesn't care if your first attempt is messy. Momentum only cares that you keep moving, because movement creates growth, and growth creates opportunity. You have to understand that momentum doesn't just happen. You have to initiate it. It doesn't wait for the perfect circumstances, for the ECT mindset, for the perfect environment. You have to push the boulder, lift yourself out of inertia, break through the resistance of fear and doubt, and commit to moving forward no matter what. And when you do, when you refuse to let fear dictate your pace, when you refuse to wait for a perfect moment that will never come, you'll feel it. The subtle, quiet power that grows stronger with each step. It's not flashy at first. It doesn't announce itself with fireworks. But it's unstoppable. And once it builds, once it carries you forward, there's nothing that can stop you. Momentum is the fuel of achievement. Motion is the path to success. And the only way to get started is to start. So stop waiting, stop overthinking, stop worrying about whether it's perfect, whether you're ready, whether the conditions are right. They will never be perfect. Nothing will ever feel perfect. The only thing you have is this moment, and what you do with it defines your future. Take action, even if it's small. Move forward, even if it's uncomfortable, step by step, decision by decision, push by push. You will build momentum. And that momentum, once it's alive in you, will carry you farther than you could have imagined. You will look back one day and realize that it wasn't talent, it wasn't luck, it wasn't perfection. It was motion. It was the refusal to wait. It was the relentless commitment to keep going imperfectly, persistently, until you created the life you were meant to live. Momentum over perf. Action is not just a strategy. It's a mindset, a lifestyle, a declaration that you will not sit idle while your dreams pass you by. You move, you push, you grind, you fight, you fail, you learn, you rise. And through all of it, you keep going, because momentum rewards the bold, the brave, and the relentless. You do not wait for perfection. You create momentum, and momentum creates your destiny. Life is not easy. If it were, everyone would be great, everyone would be successful, everyone would reach the level of excellence they dream about. But the truth is, greatness is forged in the fire of struggle. The path to your dreams will never be smooth. It will never be free of pain, discomfort, doubt, and frustration. Struggle is not the enemy. It is the process. It is the proof that you are alive, that you are trying, that you are moving forward. Every challenge you face, every setback that knocks you down, every obstacle that seems impossible is not there to break you. It is there to build you. It is there to test you, to strengthen you, to prepare you for the level of success that you are chasing. When people tell you that life is unfair, they are correct. It is unfair, but that unfairness is the training ground for the strong, the persistent, and the relentless. You have to understand that struggle is not a sign that you are failing. Struggle is a signal that you are on the right track. It is a message from life that says you are trying, you are reaching, you are pushing past calm. Fort. And that is exactly where growth begins. The problem is most people run from struggle. Most people avoid it, hide from it, and wish it would disappear. They complain when things get difficult. They cry when the journey is hard. They quit when the pressure is high. And here is the devastating truth. Life will always get hard. Problems will always arise. Challenges will always appear. The only way to succeed is to embrace struggle as part of your journey. You cannot pick and choose when you want the pain. You cannot hope for success without the sacrifice, without the obstacles, without the moments that push you to your absolute limit. Struggle is not optional. It is inevitable. The sooner you accept it, the sooner you start transforming every challenge into an advantage. Embracing struggle means understanding that failure is not a final destination. It is a teacher. Every time you fail, every time you fall, you are given the opportunity to learn, to adjust, to rise stronger. Struggle is the soil in which your resilience grows. It is the heat in which your determination is forged. It is the storm that proves how badly you want what you say you want. When you face adversity and refuse to back down, you are doing more than surviving. You are strengthening your mind, your spirit, and your willpower. You are developing an unbreakable mindset that refuses to surrender no matter how heavy the weight, no matter how dark the night, no matter how impossible the odds. Think about it. The people you admire, the people you call ledge, the people who dominate in their fields, none of them achieve their level of success without struggle. Every champion has a story filled with pain, setbacks, and trials that would have broken most people. But they didn't let struggle defeat them. They didn't let failure define them. They didn't let the difficulty of the journey stop them. Instead, they used struggle as fuel. They welcomed it, they leaned into it, and they let it teach them lessons that no easy path could ever provide. Struggle builds character. Struggle builds grit. Struggle builds unshakable confidence, because when you survive the hard times, you realize you are capable of surviving anything. You realize that no challenge is too great, no pressure too high, and no obstacle too strong. Struggle makes you unstoppable if you refuse to give up. Embracing struggle also requires a shift in perspective. Most people see obstacles as roadblocks. They see setbacks as punishments. They see pain as a reason to quit. But the truth is, the struggle itself is the reward. The struggle itself is the proof that you are alive, that you are trying, that you are growing. Without struggle, life would be meaningless. Without struggle, there would be no sense of achievement. Without struggle, there would be no personal growth. the pain, the discomfort, the late nights, the early mornings, the sacrifices. These are not punishments. They are investments. They are deposits into the account of your future success. And the more you endure, the stronger you become, the more you develop a mind that refuses to bend under pressure, a spirit that refuses to break under adversity, and a heart that refuses to settle for anything less than your absolute best. The beauty of struggle is that it reveals who you truly are. When everything is easy, when the path is smooth, it's hard to know what you are capable of. But when you are tested, when the pressure is applied, when life hits you with everything it has, you see your true strength. You see whether you have what it takes to rise above, to fight back, to keep moving forward, no matter how heavy the burden. Struggle exposes weakness, but it also exposes potential. It exposes determination. It exposes courage. And if you embrace it, if you welcome it, if you lean into it instead of running away, struggle becomes your greatest ally. It becomes the fire that tempers you, the storm that propels you, the teacher that equips you with the wisdom, resilience, and skill that no easy day could ever provide. Let me make it clear. Embracing struggle does not mean enjoying pain, pretending it's easy, or denying that life is difficult. It means acknowledging reality and choosing to move forward anyway. It means looking at the challenge in front of you, the obstacle in your path, and saying, I will not be defeated. I will not be stopped. I will not quit. It means taking responsibility for your growth, taking ownership of your journey, and refusing to let circumstances dictate your outcome. It means fighting through the discomfort, embracing the uncertainty, and trusting that the hard work, the late nights, the failures, and the setbacks are all shaping you into someone capable of achieving greatness. Every time you face struggle, remember this: it is a sign that you are pushing past your limits. It is a sign that you are growing. It is a sign that you are alive and on your way to something greater. The world rewards those who endure, those who refuse to quit, those who keep moving when everything inside them says stop. The world rewards those who embrace struggle, because struggle separates the weak from the strong, the dreamers from the doers, the ordinary from the extraordinary. If you can welcome struggle, if you can use it as fuel, if you can see it as the very thing that will make you stronger, you will develop a mindset, a spirit, and a life that nothing can shake. So stop resisting the hard days. Stop avoiding the pain. Stop wishing life were easier. Stop thinking struggle is a sign that you are failing. Struggle is proof that you are alive. Struggle is proof that you are growing. Struggle is proof that you are moving forward. Even when it doesn't feel like it, embrace it, harness it, and let it ignite you to keep going, to keep pushing, to keep fighting until the life you dream about becomes the life you live. Your struggle is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher, your strongest ally, and the fuel for your unstoppable journey towards your success. Refusing to quit is not just a decision. It's a declaration. It's a commitment you make to yourself that no matter what life throws at you, no matter how many times you fall, no matter how impossible things seem, you will not give up. You see, most people quit because it gets hard. Most people quit because the road is long, because the obstacles are heavy, because the results don't come fast enough. Most people quit because they allow doubt, fear, or discomfort to control their decisions. But here's the truth. Quitting is a habit, just like perseverance is a habit. And if you train your mind to refuse quitting, if you embed it into your very being, it will become your default. Quitting becomes unnatural. Giving up becomes impossible. Because once you understand that your potential is greater than any obstacle, your persistence will outlast every temporary pain, every challenge, and every setback. Refusing to quit means understanding that the path to success is never linear. It is filled with failures, detours, betrayals, and moments where you feel like you cannot take another step. It is in these moments, when every fiber of your being is screaming for you to stop, that the most powerful decisions are made. To quit is easy. To quit takes no courage. To quit takes no skill. But to continue when your body is tired, when your mind is exhausted, when the world seems against you, that is where true power is found. The people who succeed, the people who achieve greatness are not the ones who never face hardship. They are the ones who refuse to quit in the face of it. They are the ones who keep moving when everyone else would have given up. They are the ones who turn their struggles into stepping stones instead of stopping points. When you refuse to quit, you stop letting your circumstances define you. You stop waiting for things to be easy, for things to fall into place, for people to give you permission. You take control. You take ownership of your life, your future, and your destiny. Refusing to quit means that no external force has power over your decision to keep moving. When you understand this, when you internalize it, you begin to see that quitting is not a necessity. It is a choice. And if you refuse to make that choice, if you refuse to surrender, you are already ahead of 90% of the people who will never reach their potential because they give up too soon. Refusing to quit is also about perspective. Life is hard. Challenges will come. Failures will happen. And pain is inevitable. But refusing to quit means you view these moments not as permanent defeats, but as temporary obstacles. It means you see failure as feedback, setbacks as lessons, and rejection as redirection. Every time you refuse to quit, you are building resilience. Every time you refuse to quit, you are proving to yourself that you are stronger than the circumstances, tougher than the pain, and more determined than any obstacle. The power of refusing to quit is that it RMS your mindset. You stop seeing life as something that happens to you, and you start seeing life as something you actively shape. You start to believe that the only thing standing between you and your goals is your own refusal to persist. Think about it. The moment most people quit is the moment right before a breakthrough. The moment most people give up is the moment when success is closest, when the tide is about to turn, when victory is within reach. If you refuse to quit, you will see that the very obstacle that seemed insurmountable was the bridge to your next level. Refusing to quit is not blind stubbornness. It is strategic persistence. It is knowing that failure is temporary, that pain is temporary, that doubt is temporary, and that your potential is limitless. It is understanding that quitting ensures failure, but continuing ensures at least a chance at success, and that chance is everything. Refusing to quit is also about self-respect. When you quit, you dishonor yourself. You send a message to your own mind that your comfort is more important than your potential. But when you refuse to quit, you honor yourself, your dreams, and the sacrifices you have already made. You remind yourself that the hard work, the sleepless nights, the sacrifices, and the pain were never meant to be wasted. Every time you continue, every time you push past the voice inside your head telling you to stop, you reinforce the truth that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. You prove that your limits are not fixed, that your strength is not finite, and that your commitment to your goals is unbreakable. Refusing to quit also teaches the world who you are. People will test you. Life will test you. Circumstances will challenge you. But when you refuse to quit, you become a force that cannot be ignored. You inspire others by your example. You become proof that resilience is possible. You become a living testament to the power of determination. Others may give up, may doubt, may criticize. But your refusal to quit becomes louder than their doubt, stronger than their criticism, and more persistent than their negativity. By refusing to quit, you command respect. Not because you have achieved everything yet, but because you refuse to surrender in the pursuit of everything you desire. And let's be clear, refusing to quit is not about avoiding pain or pretending the journey is easy. It is about facing the pain head on, staring it in the face and saying, "You will not stop me." It is about enduring the nights when you feel like giving up. It is about grinding when no one is watching. It is about working harder than everyone else because you understand that success belongs to those who refuse to quit, not to those who wait for things to get easier. It is about doing the work, taking the hits, making the sacrifices, and never, ever allowing yourself to be defeated by temporary challenges. Refusing to quit requires discipline. It requires a mindset that refuses to be swayed by comfort, fear, or distraction. It requires a vision so clear, so compelling that no setback can diminish it. When you have that vision, when your why is strong enough, quitting becomes impossible because the cost of giving up outweighs the discomfort of moving forward. The world is full of people who could have been great but quit too soon. Don't let that be your story. Refuse to quit. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how slow the progress, no matter how many times you fall, refuse to quit, because your breakthrough, your victory, your moment of triumph is on the other side of persistence. Refusing to quit is more than a strategy. It is a lifestyle. It is a mindset that shapes the way you approach every challenge, every failure, every obstacle, every opportunity. It is a declaration to yourself and the world that you will not be stopped, that you will not be defeated, and that no matter what happens, you will keep moving forward until you reach your goal. It is the difference between those who live lives of mediocrity and those who achieve greatness. It is the difference between giving up and going all the way. So today, make the choice. Decide that quitting is not an option. Decide that you will fight, struggle, bleed, and sweat for what you want. Decide that when the world says stop, you will push harder. Decide that when your body and mind say no, you will say yes. Refuse to quit. Refuse to surrender. Refuse to let temporary setbacks define your story. Keep going, keep fighting, and keep believing, because your persistence is the bridge between where you are now and the life you've always dreamed of. Most people overestimate talent and underestimate the power of consistency. They look at someone who has achieved massive success and assume it came from being born naturally gifted, as if some invisible advantage handed them everything they have. But the truth is that talent alone is meaningless if it is not paired with relentless daily action. Talent is wasted when it is left dormant, when it is only used sporadically, when it is only exercised when convenient or comfortable. Consistency, on the other hand, is unstoppable. Consistency is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Consistency is the engine that turns potential into results, that turns vision into reality, that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary performers. Every champion, every legend, every person who has reached heights most people only talk about did not do it by waiting for inspiration. They did not do it by hoping for motivation. They did it by showing up day after day without excuses, without delay, without hesitation, and without fail. Consistency beats talent because results are not created in moments of brilliance. They are forged in a long grind. One amazing performance, one burst of effort, one lucky opportunity. It is meaningless without the foundation of steady, disciplined work. Talent might get someone not iced once, maybe twice, but without consistency, it cannot carry them to greatness. The world doesn't reward talent alone. The world rewards those who show up when no one is watching, when motivation is gone, when the conditions are not ideal. It rewards those who commit to doing the work every day, regardless of how they feel, regardless of the obstacles, regardless of the doubt or fear that tries to creep into their mind. Consistency builds habits, and habits compound over time. Habits create momentum. Momentum creates results, and results create the life you dream about. Without consistency, talent remains potential. It never becomes reality. Think about it. How many people have raw talent but fail to achieve greatness? How many gifted athletes, musicians, entrepreneurs, or students never reach the top because they lack the discipline to show up consistently? The list is endless. Talent is fleeting. Motivation is fleeting. Energy is fleeting. But consistency is permanent. Consistency is measurable. Consistency is reliable. When you commit to being consistent, you take control of your own success. You stop hoping for inspiration and start relying on action. You stop waiting for motivation and start relying on habit. You stop relying on luck and start relying on effort. And over time, that effort compounds in ways you cannot even imagine. Every small task, every repeated effort, every daily grind adds up. It may feel invisible at first, but the results are inevitable. Consistency also builds resilience. When you show up every day, you learn to push through discomfort, fatigue, and doubt. You learn to work when the world seems against you, when you are tired, when progress is slow, when results are not immediately visible. Consistency trains your mind to ignore excuses, to refuse shortcuts, and to refuse compromise. It teaches you that greatness is not a result of talent or luck alone. It is a result of stubborn, unyielding dedication. Every time you choose to show up, even when it's hard, even when no one notices, you reinforce your own strength and your own ability to endure. You prove to yourself that nothing outside of you can control your commitment, that your results are a direct reflection of your persistence. Consistency beats talent because the world is not fair. Talent can take you so far, but without consistency, the people who are less talented but more disciplined will always surpass you. Someone who is not naturally gifted but shows up every day, works harder than anyone else, practices when it's inconvenient, studies when it's exhausting, and pushes when it hurts will outperform someone who has talent but lacks discipline. Talent may give someone a head start, but consistency closes the gap and surpasses it entirely. This is the truth that separates winners from dreamers. Winners understand that showing up is non-negotiable, while dreamers believe talent is enough. Talent is like a seed. Consistency is the water, the sunlight, and the soil that allows it to grow. Without the nurturing power of consistent effort, talent withers and dies. With it, even the smallest spark can turn into a blazing fire. Consistency is also about accountability to yourself. It is about creating a standard that you refuse to compromise. It is about being unwilling to let your moods, circumstances, or excuses dictate your output. It is about understanding that life rewards those who can maintain high-level effort over long periods, not those who perform in bursts. Consistency is invisible. Consistency is silent. Consistency does not get applause, but its impact is undeniable. The person who is consistent every day is the person who builds mastery, who earns trust, who creates momentum, and who eventually dominates their field. The small, repeated actions that feel insignificant today are the foundation for extraordinary outcomes tomorrow. Consistency beats talent because it trains patience. In a world addicted to instant gratification, where everyone wants quick results, consistent effort teaches you to endure, to trust the process, and to embrace the long game. It teaches you that success is not about how fast you start. It's about how long you are willing to sustain effort. Every morning you show up, every night you push a little further, every time you refuse to quit, you are compounding your effort, strengthening your discipline, and getting closer to your goal. Talent cannot teach you patience. Talent cannot teach you persistence. Talent cannot teach you the quiet, relentless, day in, day out work ethic that consistency ingrains into your very being. When you commit to consistency, you stop blaming circumstances. You stop waiting for motivation, inspiration, or luck. You stop allowing excuses to dictate your results. You show up, you work, you push, and you repeat, no matter how you feel, no matter how hard it is, no matter what happens around you. And over time, that repetition turns into mastery. That persistence turns into skill. That discipline turns into results. That dedication turns into achievements. And when others are left wondering why they haven't reached their goals, you will know the truth. It wasn't talent. It wasn't luck. It wasn't magic. It was consistency. Consistency beats talent because it creates unstoppable momentum. It builds confidence that cannot be shaken. It forges a work ethic that cannot be ignored. It turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. It takes small, everyday actions and compounds them into the life you've been dreaming about. It ensures that you do not just rely on moments of brilliance or bursts of energy, but rather on the dependable, relentless grind that produces results no matter what. Consistency is the engine that powers your dreams, and it is available to anyone willing to show up time and time again without fail. So today, decide that you will be consistent. Decide that talent alone is not enough. Decide that showing up, grinding, pushing, and refusing to give up every single day will be your standard. Decide that no mood, no obstacle, no distraction, and no failure will prevent you from continuing your journey. Consistency beats talent because consistent effort compounds into results that talent alone can never achieve. Commit to showing up. Commit to putting in the work. Commit to repeating the actions that will lead you to greatness. Your future is built not on what you are capable of today, but on what you are willing to do every day. Be consistent, be relentless, and watch how your life transforms. One of the biggest mistakes people make on the journey to success is that they obsess over the finish line. They set massive goals, dream about the ultimate achievement, and then let the enormity of it paralyze them. They think about the end result so much that the steps required to get there feel overwhelming, and the weight of the big picture crushes their ability to act. But here's the truth. Success is never achieved in a single leap. It is achieved one step at a time, one decision at a time, one action at a time. When you focus on the next step instead of the finish line, you take control over the present moment. You break down your goals into manageable pieces, and suddenly the impossible becomes possible. The finish line is too far away. The finish line is uncertain. The finish line may seem impossible. But the next step, you can take that. The next step is something you can control. And control is the key to progress, to confidence, and to momentum. Focusing on the next step means living in action, not in fear. It means directing all your energy to the thing that is immediately in front of you. It means refusing to get lost in the what ifs or the somedays. It means understanding that the mountain you have to climb will not be conquered in a single stride, but it will be conquered one foothold at a time. Every giant achievement you admire, every story of someone who reached greatness started with small steps taken consistently. They didn't focus on the entire journey at once. They focused on what they could do today, right now, to get closer. And because they concentrated on the immediate step, momentum began to build, and eventually they crossed what once felt like an impossible finish line. The power of focusing on the next step is that it transforms overwhelm into clarity. It transforms fear into action. It transforms dreams into reality. The problem is that people often measure progress by how far they have to go, not by how far they have come. They see the distance between where they are and the finish line and think it's too much. They see the amount of work left and feel paralyzed. But the key to success is to stop looking at the finish line entirely. Stop worrying about how long it will take, how hard it will be, or how many obstacles will appear. The finish line is irrelevant until you take the next step. What matters is action. What matters is execution. What matters is the ability to keep moving forward, one step at a time, until those small steps accumulate into results. Focus on the next step and the journey becomes manageable. Focus on the next step and fear loses its power. Focus on the next step and momentum carries you forward almost without you realizing it. Focusing on the next step also means developing patience. Most people quit because they are impatient. They want everything now. They want the results to appear immediately. They look at the distance to the finish line and lose hope because it seems too far, too hard, too slow. But when you focus on the next step, you stop being a victim of time. You stop being a slave to the end result. You embrace the process, and in the process, you grow, you learn, you adapt, you strengthen your skills, your discipline, and your mind. The next step is always within reach. You can take it today, and that step compounds into the next step, and the next and the next. Over time, the accumulation of small, deliberate actions is what moves mountains. Think about athletes. They don't win championships by thinking about the final whistle, the trophy, or the glory. They win by focusing on the next play, the next drill, the next rep, the next move. Every successful person operates the same way. They break their goals down into actionable steps and attack each one with intensity, focus, and discipline. They don't waste energy worrying about how far they have to go. They concentrate on what is immediately in their control. And when the next step is completed, they move on to the next. That is how momentum is created. That is how results are achieved. That is how dreams are turned into reality. Focusing on the next step is also about controlling why. Our mindset. When you fixate on the finish line, your mind becomes consumed with doubt, fear, and anxiety. You worry about failure, about judgment, about whether you are capable of achieving your goal. But when you focus on the next step, your mind becomes focused on action, on problem solving, on execution. You shift from thinking to doing. You shift from fear to power. You shift from paralysis to progress. One small step at a time becomes your mantra. And as long as you keep taking those steps, the finish line moves closer without you needing to obsess over it. The next step is where courage lives. It is where action lives. It is where commitment lives. It is where transformation begins. Every time you take a step, no matter how small, you are proving to yourself that you will not be stopped, that you are capable of moving forward, and that your dreams are worth the effort. And the beauty of the next step is that it is immediate. It doesn't require permission. It doesn't require perfect conditions. It doesn't require certainty. It only requires that you move. The next step is always within your reach. And when you take it, the momentum it creates brings you closer to the next one and the next one until suddenly you have achieved what once seemed impossible. When you focus on the next step, you also protect yourself from discouragement. The finish line can be intimidating. It can seem too far, too big, too unattainable. It can crush your motivation before you even begin. But the next step is small, doable, and concrete. It is something you can act on today. It is something you can measure. It is something that allows you to move forward without being overwhelmed. And when you take that step and succeed, you gain confidence, clarity, and proof that you are capable of progress. Then you take the next step and the next and the next, and eventually you are so far down the path that the finish line is no longer daunting. It is inevitable. Focusing on the next step is about mastering control over the only moment you can truly influence, the present. The past is gone. The future is uncertain. All you have is now, and the next step is always in front of you. It is an opportunity to act, to learn, to grow, to move. By concentrating on what is directly in front of you, you eliminate distractions, overwhelm, and self-doubt. You become focused, disciplined, and unstoppable. You learn that the journey is built step by step, not in giant leaps. And as you keep stepping, you realize that the finish line is no longer a distant dream. It is a product of your consistent, deliberate, and courageous action. So stop worrying about how far you have to go. Stop letting the size of your goal intimidate you. Stop letting fear, doubt, or impatience stop you from moving forward. The finish line will come in time. It will only come if you focus on the next step, the action in front of you, and the decisions you can make today. Take that step. Then take the next, and fifth, next. Keep moving, keep grinding, keep pushing, and eventually what once felt impossible becomes your reality. Momentum builds, confidence grows, skill develops, success becomes inevitable. Focus on the next step, not the finish line, and watch how your life transforms step by step into everything you ever dreamed it could be. Pain is inevitable. Every single person on this planet experiences it in some form. Physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain, heartbreak, betrayal, failure, disappointment. It comes to everyone without discrimination, without warning, without apology. And yet, most people respond to pain in the same way. They let it defeat them. They let it break their spirit, crush their confidence, and convince them that life is unfair. They allow pain to paralyze them, to control their decisions, to convince them that their dreams are impossible. But here's the truth that separates those who achieve greatness from those who merely exist. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is a weapon, and how you wield it will determine the trajectory of your life. You can let it destroy you, or you can turn it into power. Every ounce of pain, every heartbreak, every failure, every setback can become fuel if you decide to harness it, if you decide to transform it, if you refuse to let it define you and instead let it refine you. Turning pain into power begins with perspective. Most people react to pain with anger, resentment, or self-pity. They focus on what went wrong, who hurt them, or how life has been unfair. But the key is not to avoid pain, and it's not to dwell on it. It's to understand that pain is a signal. Pain tells you where you are growing, where you are being challenged, where you are being stretched beyond your comfort zone. Pain tells you that you are alive, that you are trying, that you are pursuing something meaningful. It is a teacher disguised as suffering. The moment you stop running from pain and start learning from it, the moment you stop seeing it as an obstacle and start seeing it as fuel, you begin to turn it into power. You begin to take control of something that was once controlling you. Every failure, every mistake, every criticism, every betrayal contains the seeds of power. You see, pain exposes weakness, but it also exposes opportunity. It exposes what is holding you back, where you need to grow, what you need to strengthen. Pain can either be a prison or a catalyst. It can chain you to your past, to regret, to fear, to doubt, or it can propel you into a future you didn't think was possible. The difference is entirely within your control. The difference is in your response. The difference is in your decision to refuse to let pain dictate your destiny. Those who achieve greatness are not immune to suffering. They are simply experts at turning it into fuel. They understand that the wounds, the struggles, the moments that feel unbearable are actually the raw material of power. Turning pain into power requires action. Feeling pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. You can sit with your pain, allow it to consume you, and let it define your story. Or you can stand up, use it, and push forward. Pain without action is despair. Pain with action is transformation. Every time life hits you with something heavy, every time failure comes knocking, every time rejection stings, you have a choice. You can crumble or you can rise. You can let it defeat you or you can let it motivate you. You can let it make you bitter or you can let it make you better. You can let the world's cruelty make you weak or you can let it fuel your fire. Every setback, every loss, every struggle is an opportunity to prove that you are stronger than the circumstances. That is power. That is growth. That is what separates those who succeed from those who quit. Turning pain into power also requires resilience. Pain will not go away. Life is not going to hand you comfort, fairness, or ease. Challenges will come again and again. Heartbreak will strike again. Failure will test you repeatedly. But when you learn to harness pain, you build a mental toughness that is unshakable. You develop a mindset that refuses to be broken by hardship. You learn to endure, to persevere, to keep moving forward, even when the weight of life is crushing you. You transform suffering into strength, fear into courage, doubt into determination, and weakness into dominance. Every scar, every hardship, every struggle becomes a badge of honor, a marker of growth, and a source of relentless motivation. The most powerful people in history, the most successful entrepreneurs, athletes, and leaders did not succeed because life was easy. They succeeded because they learned to channel their pain, to extract power from every trial, to turn every setback into fuel for their ambition. They understood that the moments of deepest pain were actually the moments of greatest opportunity. Pain forced them to grow, to learn, to innovate, to fight harder than anyone else. Pain taught them lessons that comfort never could. Pain developed patience, endurance, courage, and an unshakable work ethic. Those who are unwilling to confront pain remain stagnant. Those who refuse to harness it remain ordinary. Those who turn pain into power become extraordinary. Turning pain into power also transforms your perspective on life itself. When you learn to use pain as fuel, failure becomes feedback. Criticism becomes guidance. Struggle becomes opportunity. Every negative experience becomes a lesson. Every hardship becomes a stepping stone. Every challenge becomes a proving ground. You stop fearing pain because you recognize it as your ally. You stop avoiding challenges because you recognize them as the gym where your strength is built. You stop feeling weak because you know that the power you need is already within you, forged in the fire of adversity. Pain is no longer a curse. It is a weapon, a tool, a fuel source that propels you further than you ever thought possible. The process of turning pain into power also requires ownership. You must stop blaming circumstances, other people, or luck. You must stop thinking that your suffering is a punishment or a mark of inadequacy. Instead, you must take full responsibility for your response. You must own your growth, your actions, and your choices. You must decide that no matter how much life hits you, no matter how many times you are knocked down, you will rise stronger, sharper, and more determined than ever. Ownership transforms pain from something that happens to you into something you wield as a tool for transformation. It puts you in the driver's seat, turning setbacks into catalysts, obstacles into motivation, and heartbreak into fuel. Turning pain into power is the ultimate mindset of the relentless. It is the refusal to be defeated. It is the decision to transform every hardship into momentum. It is the understanding that the weight of struggle can either crush you or catapult you to your next level. Every failure, every scar, every disappointment contains the energy to push you forward if you are willing to harness it. Those who succeed are not those who avoid pain. They are those who embrace it, who learn from it, who convert it into fuel for greatness. So the question is, what will you do with your pain? Will you let it define you, defeat you, and diminish your potential? Or will you turn it into power, leverage it to become unstoppable, and use it to create the life you were meant to live? Your pain is not your enemy. It is your teacher, your mentor, and your weapon. Refuse to let it weaken you. Refuse to let it break you. Harness it, use it, transform it. Let your struggles ignite the fire within you, the fire that will propel you to levels of success and greatness you never imagined. Turn pain into power and watch how life responds to the unstoppable force you have become. So many people live as if their story has already ended. They look at their failures, their mistakes, their heartbreaks, their missed opportunities, and they convince themselves that it's too late. That chapter is closed. That dream is dead. That chance has passed. They measure themselves against the past, and they believe that because things didn't go perfectly before, they are doomed to repeat disappointment. But here's the truth that most people fail to realize. Your story is not over, not even close. The moment you are breathing, the moment your heart is beating, the moment you can think, dream, and act, your story continues. The past is a prologue, not a conclusion. The mistakes, the failures, the pain, they are not your ending. They are your foundation. They are the lessons, the scars, the experiences that prepare you for what's coming next. Every setback, every rejection, every disappointment is just a plot twist, not the final chapter. You are still writing your story, and the power to turn the page, to change the narrative, to create a new reality lies entirely in your hand. When you understand that your story is not over, you stop letting your past define you. Most people are prisoners of their history. They allow one failure to label them a loser. They let a broken relationship convince them that love is impossible. They let a financial setback convince them that success is out of reach. But that is a lie. Your past does not dictate your future unless you let it. The moment you realize that the pen is still in your hands, that the ink is still flowing, that the chapters ahead are unwritten, you gain power. You gain freedom. You gain hope. You gain the ability to decide that no matter how dark yesterday was, today and tomorrow are yours to shape. You are not bound by the setbacks of your past. You are defined by the choices you make now. And when you take that power seriously, when you act on it relentlessly, your story becomes unstoppable. Your story is not over because every day is a new opportunity. Every sunrise, every breath, every heartbeat is a chance to start again, to correct course, to push harder, to rise higher. Life gives you infinite second chances if you're willing to take them. Every failure is a lesson disguised as pain. Every loss is an invitation to grow. Every disappointment is a signal that something better is ahead. When you embrace this truth, you stop wasting energy on regret, self-pity, or comparison. You stop mourning what could have been and start focusing on what can be. You stop thinking the book is closed when, in reality, the most powerful chapters are yet to be written. Your story is alive. It is dynamic. It is yours to author, and no one else can do it for you. To understand that your story is not over, you must also understand the power of resilience. Life will knock you down again and again, and it is not the fall that defines you, it is the decision to rise. Every person who has achieved greatness has faced moments when they thought it was over, moments when the weight of the world threatened to crush them, moments when quitting seemed like the only option. But they didn't stop. They refused to let the narrative of failure become the narrative of their life. They got up, they pushed through, they learned, and they kept moving forward. And that is exactly what you must do. The story is not over for those who refuse to quit. It is not over for those who fight, who endure, who rise, and who continue writing despite the pain, the doubt, and the obstacles. Your resilience writes chapters that no one else can. And those chapters will define your legacy. Your story is not over because your dreams are still alive. The goals that once felt unreachable, the ambitions that seemed impossible, the visions you thought were lost, they are still within your grasp if you are willing to take action. Every step you take, every decision you make, every risk you embrace is a word in your next chapter. Every time you push past fear, doubt, or discomfort, you are rewriting the narrative of your life. You are not doomed by the failures of yesterday. You are defined by the persistence of today. And the truth is, as long as you are moving forward, as long as you are growing, as long as you are willing to fight, the story continues. It is not over until you decide to stop. And the moment you decide to keep going, everything changes. One of the most powerful aspects of realizing your story is not over is the freedom it gives you to transform your identity. Too many people believe they are defined by their past, by what has happened to them, by what they have done wrong, or by what others have said about them. But identity is fluid. Identity is shaped by action, not by circumstance. The person you were yesterday does not determine the person you can be tomorrow. Every choice, every effort, every act of courage contributes to a new identity, a stronger self, a version of you that is resilient, powerful, and unstoppable. The story is not over because the author is still writing, and the protagonist, you, has the power to evolve, grow, and transform into the person you were always meant to be. Your story is not over because the best is yet to come. Life is full of chapters that have not been imagined yet, moments that have not been experienced yet, victories that have not been earned yet. When you realize that the journey is ongoing, that there is always another opportunity to rise, to learn, to succeed, to love, and to grow, you tap into an unstoppable energy. You stop being limited by fear, regret, or doubt. You stop allowing others to define your possibilities. You begin to act with purpose, discipline, and clarity, knowing that every effort contributes to a story far greater than your past failures. The story is alive, dynamic, and full of potential, and you are the only one who can write it. Your story is not over because your pain, your failure, your loss, and your setbacks are not permanent. They are temporary. They are the moments that make the triumph sweeter, the chapters that make the victory meaningful, and the experiences that shape your wisdom, character, and strength. Every challenge, every struggle, every moment of doubt is material for the next chapter, material for the life you are building, material for the legacy you will leave. And the moment you realize that, the moment you internalize that truth, you no longer fear failure, you no longer dread struggle, and you no longer let anything stop you from moving forward. Your story is alive. Your story is ongoing. Your story is waiting for your courage, your discipline, your resilience, and your action to continue writing it. So today, remember this. Your story is not over, not even close. The failures of yesterday are lessons, not endings. The setbacks of last week are fuel, not chains. The disappointments of your past are shaping your strength, not limiting your potential. Every morning, every moment, every decision is a blank page. Every step you take, every action you make, every child you overcome is a word in your next chapter. You are the author. You are the protagonist. You are the hero. And as long as you refuse to quit, as long as you keep moving forward, as long as you continue writing, your story will be legendary. It is not over. It is not finished. And the best chapters are yet to come. Right now, I want you to take a moment and understand something. Life is not waiting for you to be ready. The clock is ticking. The opportunities are moving. And the world does not care if you are tired, scared, or unsure. The only thing that matters is action. The only thing that separates the person who achieves from the person who dreams is the willingness to show up, to push through, to refuse to quit, and to keep going no matter how hard it gets. You have everything you need inside of you right now. The strength, the fire, the potential. It's already there. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't have to wait for perfect conditions. You don't have to wait for motivation to knock on your door. You only need to make the decision that no matter what, you will take the next step and then the next and then the next. And you will keep moving forward until you reach the life you have been dreaming about. Listen to me. Everyone faces struggles. Everyone experiences pain. Everyone falls. The difference is not in whether the challenge exists. It's in how you respond to it. Will you allow it to stop you, to define you, to break you? Or will you take that pie and that struggle, that doubt, and turn it into fuel, into power, into momentum that propels you higher than you've ever imagined? Every champion, every great leader, every person who has achieved something extraordinary has faced moments when quitting felt easier, when giving up seemed like the only option, when the world told them no, but they didn't quit. They kept going. They refused to allow the temporary hardships to become permanent defeats. And that is exactly what I'm telling you to do today. Keep going no matter what. The journey will not be easy. It will test you. It will push you to your limits and beyond. But it is in that struggle, in that fight, in that refusal to surrender, that your greatness is forged. There will be days when you want to stop. There will be moments when nothing seems to be working. There will be nights when your mind tells you to quit. And in those moments, you have to remind yourself that your story is not over, that the next step is always within your reach, and that your potential is greater than any obstacle, any failure, any setback. The only thing standing between you and what you want is your willingness to keep moving, your courage to take action, and your refusal to stop until you win. So I am not asking you to take a small step. I am asking you to make a choice that will change your life. Decide today that no matter how hard it gets, no matter how slow progress may seem, no matter how many times you fall, you will get back up, you will push forward, and you will keep going. Because every step you take, every action you commit to, every struggle you endure is building the life, the future, and the legacy you deserve. You are capable. You are powerful. You are unstoppable. The fire is inside you. It always has been. And now it's time to let it roar. Keep going. Keep pushing. Keep fighting. Keep believing. Refuse to quit. Focus on the next step. Harness your pain. Embrace your journey, and never forget your story is not over. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. The best chapters are waiting, and it's up to you to write them. So stand up, take the next step, and go take the life that belongs to you.